Hello everyone, my name's Kyle and today we'll be talking about numerology. So numerology is an ancient science that's designed to help us understand the world around us. It's very similar to astrology in a sense that it has relation to the world on both the microcosm and the macrocosm, because as I've discussed in my series on religion, everything must interbe. So there is no way for us to exist purely as a fragmented idea without being a part of the rest of the universe, because we are an effect of the Big Bang. Without the dinosaurs being wiped out, we wouldn't be able to exist on this planet. Without the rain cycle, without the carbon cycle, without the phosphorus cycle, our bodies would not be able to exist. So we can't say that we exist independent of everything, and we're actually just a giant fragment of the entire universe experiencing itself. So numerology is based on math as far as how it explains the mechanics of the world. And math is a very fundamental part of reality, where there's questions being brought up by scientists now where they're wondering if math actually helps create everything, because the world is kind of just information. So you can see math in fractalized patterns, which start off very basic and become more complicated over time. There's natural fractals, like a tree when it starts as a, the trunk, and then splits off into two branches, because eventually those two branches split off into other ones. Now, this isn't the same pattern for evergreens, but the trees that lose their leaves in the winter do have this type of pattern to it. Along with it, the golden ratio, or the number phi, is found all throughout nature, and in the human body, 7.23 to 1, or just 7.23 centimeters, is a very common number that exists within our body. So numerology works on this system called vortex math, which only involves numbers 1 through 9. So the way you reduce any number to a number 1 through 9 with vortex math is by adding them up. So if you had the number 12, it would reduce to 3, because 1 plus 2 is 3. So that's how vortex math works. And I have been doing this for years while driving when I look at license plates, and had no idea that this was actually a process. I just found out that if you take any series of numbers and keep reducing them this way, they always wind up being the same one number. Now, the reason they don't use 0 is because 0 can't be used to measure something. You can only measure things with discrete numbers like 1 through 9. Although 0 is a new number and has done a lot to improve the world, because 0 didn't make its way into the Western mind until a couple hundred years ago, and that's one of the main components to computer science because of binary numbers, and it's helped us out with physics and math in general. Now, using 0 does create this extra plane of numbers. So, for example, a 0 and a 1 would create a 10, which then can open you up through the numbers 11 through 19. However, with numerology, they just simplify it down to numbers 1 through 9. With the numbers 1 through 9, there's both even and odd numbers. Even numbers are considered to be feminine, magnetic, alkaline, and static, while odd numbers are considered to be masculine, electric, acidic, and dynamic. Now, the reason they're considered dynamic numbers is if you add an odd number and an odd number together, you get an even number, which means all of the numbers have a pair. And if you add an even number and an even number, all of them add up to have a pair. But if you add an odd number to an even number, because of the odd number having that one number without a pair, you wind up again with a number that doesn't have a pair. Now, an interesting note is that the number 6 in numerology is considered the universal friend, because the number 6 is made up of both even and odd numbers, where any other odd number requires you to have added up just even numbers, or odd numbers. 6 can be made in an interesting way, because it can be added by 2 by 2 by 2, or 3 plus 3. Along with it, Nikola Tesla, when he had his theory about how to get electricity from just the air or the world around us, it involved the numbers 3, 6, and 9. And if you have any numbers that add up to number 3 or 9 with vortex math, they are divisible by 9 if they add up to 9, and 3 as well, because 9 is divisible by 3. Or if they add up to 3, they're divisible by 3. So with numerology, there's 3 different numbers that you use. The first one is going to be your psychic number, which is found with the simple date of your birth. So if you're born on the 12th of the month, your psychic number is 3, because 1 plus 2 is 3. And your psychic number describes how you look at yourself. It's important with your choice of food, sex, relationship, marriage, and then your needs and ambitions. The second number that's important to you is your destiny number. Your destiny number is the combination of your entire birth. So you'll take date, month, and year, and then convert them into a number 1 through 9. Your destiny number says what's going to happen as an overarching trend in your life. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, as said by Krishna, the Godhead, he says, "Oh, Arjuna, man is free to perform any kind of action, but there is no freedom from getting the fruits of one karmas at a time that you want." And that's because your life is going to kind of be told to you as how it pans out, but you get to choose how you perceive it. As good and bad is relative depending on who you are. And then the last number is going to be your name number. It's a little more complex to get how you find your name number because the letters don't work in the systematic pattern directly for it. When I do the video on the name number, I will explain how to get the number for your name. But just know that the name number describes how you socialize, and then it says what's good for marriage. So you have different name numbers depending on your full legal name that may be on your birth certificate or driver's license, and then the name of what you're most oftenly called, because they produce this resonance with the idea. Certain names and numbers can be relatively good or bad, but there's no such thing as having a better psychic number than another person because we, as I had stated already, are just the universe experiencing itself, so we are part of one giant thing just looking at it through a bunch of different perspectives. The other thing is all of these numbers have planets that are associated with them or parts of the moon. So up ahead in this series, I'm going to have 4 more videos. The first one is going to be on the psychic number, the second one will be on the destiny number, the third will be on the name number, and then the fourth will be on the associated planets. This is going to be from the Vedic base, so it's going to mostly have a Hindu reference. Now, it does also pop up in Islamic culture and other religions. I can try to transpose the planets to them if that's something you're interested in. Otherwise, this is kind of my comfort zone, so I'd prefer to stick with the Vedic teachings. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.